YouTube, welcome to the top 16 of the Meta Weekly on the New Year anniversary, new pack day. And boy, do we have a crazy duel to start this off with. We have the Gaze of Timaeus to help enable the Dark Magician of Destruction, turning itself into a Dragoon. Now, we are playing up what is the current best deck. Now, what about Vanquisher Canine? We don't know until more results pour in. Obviously, there's Vanquisher Canine within today's event, but first we're gonna see, can Dark Magician White Forest defeat Dracotail? By watch as long as you can, that greatly supports this event. We're also gonna have a $1,000 tournament, the MCS. This is it, Meta Championship Series on this Saturday. We've invited YCS champions in addition to the players playing weekly that do well enough to qualify for the event. So it should be a great day. At 4 p.m. EST will be the stream time of the event where the players start at 2 p.m. They get a little bit of a head start and it's gonna be a great day. So I'll see you all there in addition to today's event. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
LZ, getting rid of the Gaze of Timaeus. Ash Blossom negating LZ is quite good. Otherwise, saving the Ash Blossom for the Sinful Spoil that tributes a card to search is a good one, I'd say. We're gonna grab the Witch. This will lock us out of Azamina. We now cannot summon Azamina, nor the Dark Magician Destruction from the extra deck, unfortunately. Getting hit with a Max C, but we have our own Ash Blossom. You ash me, I ash you. Diablo Vengeance will have the ability to pop a card in the field and then summon a monster from the extra deck, which will be another form of disruption. And then we have the Psychic and Punisher, a Towers. What are we doing with the Towers? What the? So with the Morian, we could flip a monster face down. We could pop a card in the field with the Vengeance, and then we could also further push a card back with whatever we summoned with the Vengeance. Key to Dracotail. Not during the duel, Gia. Holy triple fusion. Gia, what the? Arthalion with a double trigger engrave. We have a non-target negate with the Malulu mate. Thus, the Vengeance has to destroy something. But if the Vengeance destroys something, it will summon something which will then be negated by the Malulu instead. What do we do? This puts us in a difficult predicament here with the non-target permanent negate on the lower chain link. We summon something which should just get negated. Now, mind you, Vengeance just helped out End Punisher. End Punisher is completely unaffected from activated effects. As long as our life points are equal or less, thanks to paying half our life, we are way less. Negates the Poplar, right? Poplar negated? Yep. Poplar now negated. Now, Diabel's does have an effect here. Not a disruption, but monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects while you control 2 or more Diabel. This is negated, you are negated, super negated, right? Yes. Negate, negate. Lucius come forth. How do we deal with the Psychic and Punisher? Unstoppable Towers, right? Using the Rahu Dracotail. Come forth into Gulamel, Urgula and Arthalion, Femina. We're gonna Morian flip down the Gulamel, also Chainlink block it from popping a card in the field. As we further set the Sting, Reborn Arthalion, the Morian would have been popped by the Urgula, so it was perfect to just activate it right then and there. Now, Diablo Vengeance will just simply Reborn. We did not want the Psychic and Punisher to get super boosted in the battle phase and then attack over the Lucius. We're afraid of this. As long as we have a spell and trap card engrave, which we don't, that's how we Reborn back out the Vengeance. If we have a way to access a trap, the Sylvie could search for a trap. Wanted Seeker, return the Morian back in the deck. Psychic and Punisher, banishing away the Gulamel as we activate our Femina to fuse it up. Are we going into a Secretarian? Secretarian will ensure that special summon spellcasters and dragons cannot activate. We're going into Arthalion instead. Arthalion, target from within our graveyard, return the Femina back. We now have Sylvie searching for the Witch of the White Forest. We're gonna use the Dracotail Horn, returning Diabel's back to draw a card. Now, we don't have a way to trigger the Malulu. Let's negate Witch of the White Forest mate. Return back, additionally draw again, drawing into a form of disruption. We have Ash, Max C, Veiler. You did negate the summon lock of the field spell though. We have Diabel's White Forest, which is activating to send from the deck to the graveyard. In a way, you helped us. You returned this back so I can now send a trap to then reborn the Vengeance, which you then had to use Valor on to negate. Snake Eye Vengeance Dragon will push a card in the graveyard or on the field into the back row. We're going to chain Sting, banishing away the Vengeance from the game, and I believe once she's banished, that's it. She's gone for good, unless we play an additional copy. Now, the Vengeance was not able to push into the back row since it was returned back to the extra deck instead. And during the battle phase, lethal damage, but during the battle phase it has another effect. That effect is you could target a monster and continue a spell on the field, which would be the Goulamel. So he denied him from the additional effect of being able to target a monster and the Goulamel to then destroy them. Very interesting. Key 2, Ash, negate. Now, we have the play. We could go right in on our own turn. Diablo Star into the Dark Magician of Destruction. Immediately, right? Unless this gets stopped in some way, which it could not. Now, we do have to activate a spell. If we don't activate a spell, we can't summon the Dark Magician of Destruction. Ash, negate the Fool-Lost Mate. As soon as we flip up the Sinful Spoils, that is when we could then summon it. So we're going to send, in response, Max C. Now, under Max C, it's going to be a draw 2. And why didn't we just summon this initially? It doesn't activate in the extra deck. They would have not been able to Max C. So you would, during the turn you activate a spell, you banish the Diablo Star from what you control as a material. So it's not something you want to get into the grave first and then banish. And then I guess they'd have to Max C afterward. Are we going to even go into a Dragoon play? Valor, negate Diabels from sending a Sinful Spoil or Diabel card from the deck to the grave. Now what? We're going for it. This is it. Dark Magician of Destruction. And then we could just set this. Oh, battle phase. Oh, lethal damage. Oh, Magnum Hunt to block the lethal damage. What the? No. We had game, but the Bestial blocks the attack. Dragoon is here. Now, this Dragoon has an expiration date, and that is the end phase of the next turn. And we also have no card in hand for discarding. So it actually does nothing. It just can't be destroyed by card effects or be targeted, but it will be dealt with in the end phase. RIP. Yeah, I mean, we correctly went for game. We almost had it. Arthalion, recycle back the Max C, which officially in game for everyone else. Max C is now limited to 1, despite us playing it for what I think we had at least 2 to 3 other tournaments where Max C was at 1. And you are now completely negated, thus you could be destroyed by card effect and be targeted. Rahu, fuse with the Pan. Pan can now destroy the Dragoon. Goulamel can destroy the other. And that's that. Full field wipeage of monsters. And then come forth and summon into our lethal damage. Finish him. Recycling back, limited to 1 Magnum Hunt. Recycling back, limited to 1 Max C. Shouldn't Arthalion say, whatever you return back that does not say Dracotail on it cannot be activated at least the turn you added it back, at minimum, maybe even 2 turns? Maybe they could have thought of this preemptively, of being able to recycle whatever freaking card you want to make it activatable right away? You think 6 or 7 months, really? Generally, we get something 9 months after it is released in Japan. And it has not released in Japan. It's not out yet. And we just got freaking Droll and Lockbirded. Droll shutting down our ability to search. Shutting down our ability to search. We had search, double negated. Oh boy. Fool loss, no good. We just have Bell. And what is Bell gonna do against a Dracotail player's turn? It's gonna do nothing. You use the Bell to stop Urgula from adding back a Femina for the next turn. You use a Bell to stop the trap from negating your spell, returning back your monster. You don't use the Bell for anything besides trying to stop an Arthalion that will always be chain link blocked, thus it is not bellable. Now, Dragon Link, I should say Dracotail that is not known for 1 turn killing. Let's see how much damage they can put out on the field. Key 2, as we now go into Secretarian. Secretarian could reborn the Pan. Pan destroys your monster, and that would be over 8,000 damage. Which you can bell. We can bell this. Let's go. Bell. Well. Negate your lethal damage mate. Now, even with this negated, we're dealing with a ton of disruption. They have a recycled back Droll, right? They recycled this back. It's not another freaking copy. No, they have game still. Okay, great. What could we even draw into? No way. Nothing we could draw. Let's see. Use it up. Into Gulamel, 8,000 plus. Damn. We did get to see Dark Magician of Destruction. At least that was summoned within the 3 duels. Unfortunately, it was not enough. That Bestial. That random Bestial stopping lethal damage. There really wasn't anything else you could have drawn into. Nuts. Dr. JB, I appreciate you. Let's keep on going. Begin. We're going to start off with our Mad Love play, grabbing our Vanquish Soul start. Now for Dracony, of course, we have no hand traps whatsoever. So this is going to be full, uninterrupted Hakimo turn 1 play. Let's Borger, draw a card. We now have Bell randomly. Trigger the Jialong, summon the Holly Sue. Special summon from the deck into the Raisin, searching for the Jialong. Jialong, reveal 2 fires. Search our deck for a Caesar Valius. Now we got the Ripper. Let it rip into searching for a forced release as we now make a Rock of the Vanquisher. Rock's going to add back the Raisin. We have Stake Your Soul, reveal, summon Holly Sue. Let Caesar summon itself out and then end our turn. All right. So what do we have here? We have non-target destroy the entire field of monsters. We have non-target destroy a card on the field. We have negate an effect of a monster that would activate in the hand or engrave. We are able to non-target pop with the Caesar Valius. We have Ash, we have Bell. We could potentially destroy a column here. We could potentially steal a monster with the Holly Sue, and or return a monster back with the Mad Love. So it's about 9 potential disruptions. Maybe 8. Borger draw, maybe another hand trap? No. Ponix, come to me, Fire King Sanctuary. With the Sanctuary, we'll play the field spell, our second copy. To battle we go. Now, this is interesting. Damage step, sub-step 5, end of the damage step. Can the Ripper negate in the damage step? Let's read this. When the opponent activates a monster in the hand or graveyard, negate that effect. So that means she definitively cannot activate in the damage step. Now, there is something here that could activate in the damage step. The only card that's damage steppable would be the Ghost Bell. But the Ghost Bell is if you are summoning from the grave, not from the hand. Come forth, Garunix. We're still in the damage step. Activate in the damage step, activate in the damage step. Now, this is bellable. There you go. Perfect. Bell was the freaking way. Nuts. Could not Ripper. And we're still in the battle phase. Now, Garunix being destroyed does nothing. Garunix just wants to be in the graveyard. So we're going to change Skyburn to it presumably being non-target destroyed right now. We do lose out on the forced release play since our Ripper's now destroyed. Goodbye to the Fire King Sanctuary through the effect of the Caesar. We still have the non-target destroy of Snow Devil. We could Holly Sue take control of their monster if we want to. We're going to add back the Holly Sue, not special summon a Mad Love, to then try to return a monster back, which would be our own Borger. We are going to negate the Holly Sue from summoning from the deck. We are not revealing an Earth and Fire to take control, an Earth and Dark, that is. As we now trigger the Jialong to special summon, let's reveal 2 fire to further search our deck for a Mad Love. Replace the Fire King Island with another one. Trigger the Fire King Island to pop our Garunix, then end our turn. Now it's going to come back in the standby phase. Okay. Let's go. Ponix first add back, and it's now going to activate to destroy all of their cards. Now, I wish you would have allowed it, Hakimo, because what exactly is this Garunix doing? If you special summon this from the graveyard, destroy all other monsters on the field. If we read this card, if multiple Vanquished Souls or a Vanquished Soul would be destroyed, reveal a Vanquished Soul instead. So it's literally just destroying the Rock of the Vanquisher, and so what, right? You'll be able to see that it really doesn't do anything. But I bail you anyway. So do note that the Vanquish Soul start protects you from what prevalent card? Murakumo. Murakumo Field Wipe, you chain link block it, all that nonsense, who cares? The field spell will protect only the Vanquish Souls from being destroyed. All right. Yep, shift in the standby phase. Instant win. He passes. Cool, I have no play. Awesome. Well, I could fool Austin Ash still under the effective shifter. You're not able to lantern from the graveyard. Not too big of a deal. You know, it's like, it's very difficult. Like, do you use a hand trap against Jokel? Well, now the Ripper can further set the quick play from the deck, and the Ripper's still gonna search, so it's like, here's a search into another search. You're just screwed. Okay, Jokel. Ooh, Blossom. Let's Ash, negate. Now, it is very important, I would say, more so than ever, to activate your Fool Loss in the draw phase, standby phase. Why more so now than ever? Because there's a chance that the Ash Blossom is a combo piece. The Ash Blossom's needed for Stake Your Soul. The Ash is needed to be revealed with the Holly Sue. It's needed for the Jiaolong. The Ash is going to be needed for so many other plays that you put them in a position where if they have to Ash early, they may now not even have a combo. Rip it up. Rip, search our deck for the Naroi. Naroi will be our normal summon. Summon from the deck. Lantern searching for the case for Canine. As we further grab Azuna to battle, we go 9,200. Why are they boosted? The case for freaking Canine gives, what, 900 attack if a hand of trap was activated this turn? It's like, but you know, it's difficult. You activate a hand trap, then they now have plays to beat you. What is really the answer? That is a 2-0. Let's go. Let's go. Lucius. Mina to our hand here. We're waiting on what to Ash. Of course I want to Ash the Branded Fusion. Of course I want to turn on their Azuna. Wait, Azuna? Azuna is here. Azuna ready to special summon, as we're now going to make our Arthalion first. Arthalion is going to be... Now, Azuna is actually not good, because even though the Ash negated this, this is not part of the effect. You cannot summon from the extra deck except fusion monsters the turn you activate this card. So we cannot make a Valen, which is what we'd want to do. We can't even make a Little Knight nor Anaconda to then follow up with another Branded Fusion play, obviously. So this is an example of Azuna being bad. You would not want this. So we will just save Azuna for next turn, because surely Honda Powered will activate something in the graveyard or in hand, and then what we're going to do with the Azuna is a surprise Valen, surprise flip their monster face down. All right, pretty good. Let's see, we're not done yet. Add back the Femina. Sure, let's go. Return a monster back, destroy a card in the field, negate a spell, banish from the grave, Azuna flip a monster face down, Femina Fusion Disruption, Malulu non-target negate. 7 disruptions versus a 5-card hand? Let's go. That's it. Azuna is now turned on. Bestial, Drew Swarm, banish away the Malulu, activate Fool Loss before it would not be activatable. Do we want to, we have the Call of the Grave for the Lupus if we want to stop it from being able to go into the Valen. Valdrake is going to be banishing away the Lubellion, denying the Sting from drawing a card. No draw for you, also Chainlink blocking the Gulamel, further Chainlink blocking the Gulamel from popping a card in the field. We're going to use the Flame to negate the called value. You will not be fingering my Femina. And we're not activating Gulamel. We do not want to pop the Jerusalem. We want to pop something else. Negate, randomly draw into a follow-up play, as we have Mysterion. Mysterion is only through an activated effect, which that was. Now, we're going to banish all the dragons. You, and our own Arthalion will get banished. Triple banish. Malulu is going to be using up its non-target negate here to set up for a follow-up play. Mind you, we're just waiting with the Azuna. It will be a surprise. So full field banish. We will want to consider using the Azuna soon. Well, return this back. That now messes up the Absol router. For Control Rocket, we could special summon this. We used up all of our normal summons, which one normal summon, unless you're playing TCG. Reborn the Lupus. And then whenever you want, you could turn the Lupus into a Valen to flip a monster face down. Now, even though the Lupus can perform its Xyz summon during the end phase, the Xyz you're going into may only be activatable in the main phase. Now, if we were more of a hardcore K9 built deck, we would not be searching for Azuna. We'd be searching for the Lantern. Lantern would be reborn. Lantern would be searching for a Case for K9. Case for K9 would be further searching for a Jokel or a Naroi. Normal summon it, summon. Just the K9 engine itself is a ton of damage. All right. Damn. Damn. So did K9 do anything here? No. It absolutely did nothing. It was further protection. If they had another push, then the K9 would have been good. It just wasn't needed. Where Azuna would have been needed most. This would have been the time to Azuna. Flip a monster face down. And would that have completely ended our turn, potentially? That's using up a normal summon, which we felt confident would lead to a striker to summon our Rocket Tracer. So we're going to see a lot of people get caught off guard by Azuna ending duels, Azuna straight up winning. Because against any other hand trap, that normal summon play was safe. It was only Azuna where we would have had to scoop. Boral, reboot, spell or trap card while you control a rocket, negate the activation, set it down. Now that set card cannot be activated this turn. Let's Rocket Tracer in response to the Rahu Dracotail. Yeah, Maxi, by the way, it is limited to 1, so you will rarely ever see it. Never gonna happen. Let's, until they use it, and then return it back, then use it, then return it back, then use it. Rocket, loader, on summon, add from the deck. Our Absol router, which will do nothing during the opponent's turn. And if Dracotail is still prevalent, you would want to play Retaliating Sea against the Dracotail, and then Retaliating Sea, if sent to the grave, will be searching for your one of Max C. And if you're a Yummy player, I would encourage you considering to play Sangan. You normal Sangan, you make an Almirage, it could search for a Yummy that could still special summon, or you already have a combo, search for Max C. That's great. That's insane. You could see Max C essentially, even though I don't count it as a disruption when counting up disruptions, Max C is essentially a floodgate. So adding Sangan adding a floodgate to your turn 1 play, whatever it is, that's great. Lucas, grab the Femina, and then just end this duel. 9,000 damage. All right. 2-0. Damn. Lucius, Ash, negate. The cope went through mate. I cannot believe that. It actually worked. What the? Perry Reese map is incredible. Normal summon Cupsy is the best play. Cupsy is a normal summon that needs 2 hand traps to stop it. You can't stop it with an Ash, a Valor, an Imperm. You need 2. How many normal summons do you need 2 hand traps to stop their combo? Negate the Maxi mate. It looks like he's holding the Ash Blossom, or if we know they're a Mitsurugi, you'd want to save it for the Saji searching for the ritual, or you will use it onto the... Is it resetting this every single duel? I gotta fix that. You want to use it on the Cupsy Synchro trying to draw cards, which this is the one. He's not chaining to reborn back onto the field his 2 bodies. Special summon our Cookie, further go into the Snatchy. Now, I was talking earlier in today's stream, to potentially counter Yummy, you play the Fancy Ball. Fancy Ball. What is Snatchy gonna do? You're gonna link off with the Snatchy. They can't chain synchro to you linking off with Snatchy. You have an option if they activate their effect, you could also chain banish it if they don't have another card to synchro with, or you just definitively stop their synchro play with the Fancy Ball. Bro, draw better. What is wrong with you? You scooped game 1 essentially to a single Ash Blossom. Game 2, you have no play whatsoever. Now, our no play is having the ability to banish from the graveyard. Now, you may be thinking, like, what the heck? We turned off our Fool Loss. That is correct, but I guess we're assuming we're going to use the Dracotail Sting early, which would be against the field spell that they already have in hand. So we stopped them from playing a minion from the deck that they already have in hand. It is a one of. You're not stinging? If you sting, then the Fool Loss would be activatable. You don't want to Fool Loss this game? Okay, you want a fair duel. Sure. Now let me turn off the setting real quick. It is... We'll keep it narrow. All right, good. Let's go. Banish. The Cupsy. Habakiri, some for the deck. This is the effect you ash. You ash this. You cannot ash the Mitsurugi Ritual. When it's using materials from the deck, it's not sending them, it's tributing them. That does not count towards the requirement of using ash. Now we have Cubsy. Even if we Dracotail Sting, we're not able to Fool Loss. I think this was a bit sus. Why did we not focus on turning on our Fool Loss? Sting instead of Magnum Hut, then Fool Loss afterward, right? Maybe not even negate them playing Minion, because the Sting will sting the card they're trying to Minion back in the field. What did we use? We used a Veiler on this, right? Hold on to Veiler, hold on to everything else, just simply Sting and then Fool Loss them afterward. Now, it looks like they did have an Ash Blossom for our Fua if we did have that play. Habakiri, wipe away the Magnum Hut. Return back. I guess Sting was all about the Herald of Arc Light. And we out because the Ash Blossom negates it anyway. Damn. All right, let's go, let's go. Start off with our normal summon Raisin, searching for our Borger. We're going to Fool Loss on Resolution. What is our minimal anti-Fool Loss play? Well, if we summon from the hand, it's not that big of a deal. We're going to be searching for a Caesar Valius. Borger's going to return back the Raisin. With a Darkened Hand, which would be the Jokel, we get to freely draw a card on our turn and the opponent's turn. Jokel Special Summon, which they don't get to draw for that Fool Loss. Azuna sending the Lupus. Lupus Reborn would not be a draw. Further searching for another Azuna. And we're going to commit at least to a Ripper. They get one draw, but we get a search and the quick play spell. So what this would do both. Add a canine card from your deck to your hand. Then if your opponent activated a Fool Loss, you get to set the canine quick play spell. So we lost a search by doing that, but that's okay. Now, we also don't have a... Why not summon Holly Sue under Fool Loss, right? You will have the ability to trigger the field spell. Field spell would set the trap. The trap would be able to non-target pop all the monsters and they don't get to draw here. Okay, but beyond that, we have a hand or graveyard effect negate, non-target pop mate. We could draw a card. We could Holly Sue, make a play into destroy a column potentially. And we also have the Wave King. I keep Wave Caesar, Wave King, Caesar, Wave King, Caesar Valius, non-target pop. And then we potentially have a play with the Azuna. There's about 5 disruptions. Paris map is giving you the best normal summon. This requires 2 hand traps to stop. Horned Drones, non-target pop. So we lose a disruption and we lose a disruption. We actually gain another disruption through the Werewolf. With the Werewolf, if you activate anything, I can look at your hand and banish whatever I want. So you gotta think before you activate, should I set a card from my hand before they get to banish whatever they want? Because that's it. This is not random. I'm looking. Show me your hand. I don't like that card, banish it. Now the Marshmallow could recycle it. It's not gone for good. We have Caesar getting ready. The main counter for Yummy is similar to Sprite. If they have a monster on the field, get rid of it. Pop it, suck it up, flip it face down, whatever you gotta do. They used up their normal summon, so very simply, pop it. We do have a Fire, Earth, and Dark, so we are ready for that. We could use the Holly Sue to instead summon a Raisin into this column, or we could take control of it. So we had multiple options. Destroy the column, take control, pop it. So we were able to deal with at least 2 cards. We had 1 more. Very nice. Yup, let's go. We're going first. Cupsy, our best normal summon. When is Azuna going to be activatable? Well, what Yummy activates in the hand or engrave? The Mitsurugi cards do, but now we're under Fool Loss. Marshmallow would be that card. So this is an example where the Azuna's not good. We got double brick, Azuna and Lupus. That is absolutely horrid. Now we have other plays, but these are essentially bricks. Now what's going to make them better is getting a Jokel. Jokel is great. Initiating your plays with Jokel is the way. Get a Ripper out. It's going to give you hand trap resilience before you commit to your normal summon. There you go. This is why Jokel in the TCG and OCG is limited to 1. They want to restrict your options of opening up with Jokel because it feels unfair. We're going to Raisin. In response, the Cupsy is going to be reborning 2 bodies. Now, we're not putting the Raisin in the same column as the Lollipo or even in the extra monster zone to potentially threaten something. Now, we're putting the Cookie in the same column as the Raisin, which can now destroy it if we want to. Activate a Synchro for free. Why? Why did we do this? It makes no sense. What? Wait, you don't have a Dark? Fire Dark, destroy the column. Instead, you're using the Cookie to protect from destruction. So because this is reborn off of the effect of the Synchro, you don't want it to be destroyed. Sure. Instead of destroying the column. You don't want a 1-for-1, you just want to keep it on the field. Snatchy's going to be chain synchroing, and then also the Snatchy could jump off from you trying to destroy the column, so you could say Whooper is baiting him, which, you know, could be a good play. Trick the opponent into activating a Raisin to destroy the column and then jump off the field instead. We're going to a Cookie to flip 2 monsters face down. Replace with the Crow. Let's flip them down. A Crow is quite nasty. Now, there's 2 ways to play around the Crow because this is going to be a really prevalent matchup if you're playing Vanquish Soul Canine. If a face-up monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon a Yummy from the deck. So there's actually 3 good ways to deal with this to ensure that this does not trigger. Number 1, take control of their monster, it won't trigger. Number 2, flip their monster face down with a Valen. If you play it, it will not trigger. And number 3, this happened in a YCS and the player cheated or didn't know better. The Nash Knight could suck up the monster. You're not considered to be leaving the field, thus you don't trigger the field spell to summon for the deck. So those are 3 main ways to deal with this field spell. Holisu is activating what effect here? Holisu is taking control of the monster with the lowest attack. The lowest attack being Snatchy so far. And now the Cupsy. Your Cupsy's mine. Cupsy. Cupsy triggers for you. But you don't play any Yummy cards. But it was summoned from a Synchro. So you get the effect of the Cupsy. This is like triple tactics talent. They Masquerena go into a Little Knight. You take the Little Knight. You activate the Little Knight. It's your Little Knight now that just summoned. Oh my Jesus, we got to draw a card. We have Jokel plus the Lupus. Snatchy is activating the Synchro. Now this will trigger the other effect of the Crow to pop a card on the field. Let's take out the Jokel as we're further reborning 2 bodies from the grave. Now the bodies we reborn are going to be negated. We still have Yummy Surprise, which could return 2 cards on the field back to the hand. Little Knight. To battle we go. All right. Little Knight, just summoning Little Knight and not even activating it against a Snatchy could be a really good idea. It could be a way to pin it down if you want to play against Yummy and just minimally summon this. Now, the problem with you summoning a Little Knight to pin down their Snatchy is, where's she pointing? She's pointing to the left and right. You now can't make your Rock of the Vanquisher if you want to initiate with the Little Knight to pin down their playing. All right, what do we have here? Mignon is recycling. Back in the deck we go. We have Snatchy, which could play the Mignon from the deck now, as we're going to use the Mignon to reborn the Cupsy. We have Lupus in the graveyard, right? But it's not going to be activatable until now it is. We gotta be careful about the Marshmallow. If you Marshmallow, you're turning on Lupus, you're turning on Azuna. They can now rank 5 Xyz into, they could destroy a monster, flip a monster face down, they could suck up a monster. You gotta be careful. That's pretty much the only thing you could have done to make this enabled. Boom, he's on. The other cards would not have allowed this to be activatable. These do not activate in the hand, only the Marshmallow. So, were we baiting them? Or did we not want this to happen? Because now, as I said, Little Knight pinning down the Snatchy is banishing the Snatchy. Oh boy. I think I would say we messed this up, how we did the Surprise and the Snatchy. What I would have done is I would have tried to push Kest into misplaying. And how would he misplay? I would use Surprise to target the Little Knight and, let's say, the Lupus. Lupus will get banished, by the way, because it was reborn from the graveyard, as you see there. And then you hope that Little Knight chains to the Surprise. And then Surprise, the real surprise, is you chain Snatchy to the Little Knight trying to banish before it gets returned back to the extra deck, right? Come forth. Snatchy. Well, it's okay. We're playing right through it. You have Lollipo on summon. Reborn our Lollipo and our Snatchy, super boosted upfield here. Holy boost! 22,000 damage? What the? Has anyone seen a bigger number on the field? 22,000 damage. All right. Raise and unsummon, Ash negate, and just like that, Azuna is fully on. So let's make our plays from here. Azuna special summon since you used Dash. We're going to be sending a Noroi from the deck since we already have Lupus in hand. And now let's turn both into our Ripper. Let it rip. Detach, we're going to be searching for a Lantern. Lantern's going to be reborning. We're further setting a Force Release non-target pop plus banish in the hand with the Werewolf. So do view the Force Release as a double disruption. It's crazy good. The Lantern's gonna be further searching for a case for Canine after we reborn the Noroi. Now Noroi is gonna be able to look at your hand and see exactly what you have. In the TCG, a lot of people surrender early to Noroi because they wanna hide what they're playing. This reveals everything. Just like that. Hello, here's my hand. Just saw the whole hand. Now we go into a Nash Knight. So he's gonna know how he's gonna have to be thinking, all right, he's got 2 plays and a called by. We wanna play around the 2 plays plus called by. And then obviously the new card would be the newly drawn one, the Hidden Information, which is another Ash, which is gonna be useless. We can't Ash anything here. Now, this is a non-target suck, negates an activation from the hand or grave. We have non-target pop, we have banish from the hand, we have non-target wipe away the entire field. We could potentially destroy the column, but who's gonna fall for that, so maybe I don't count that. We could also use the Caesar Valleys to non-target pop 1 card in the field. About 6 forms of disruption, I'd say. Hornet Drones. We're gonna pop it right now. So we're gonna lose our Ripper to pop the token, so we're now at 4 disruption. Lollipo, we're gonna suck it up. Get sucking. 3 more disruption. We're going to, because this is only within the main phase, possibly Whooper was saying he wanted to end his turn. Werewolf now looks at the hand. Oh, you have a called by. I could banish that. Goodbye. There you go. He could chain called by if there was something worth called buying in grave, like the Lupus, but then they would chain Lupus to the called by, so what can you do? Nothing. Absolute obliteration. Holy moly. Nuts. Good job. Okay. Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight turning itself into the Masquerade, which will pop the field spell. On summon, pop a back row card. Negate the activation of a monster on the field, then half their life points. Lethal damage. Wow. That was dirty. We didn't even need to look at his hand, but we got to look at his hand in addition to all that to make sure we could perfectly make our counter disruptions. Nuts. Let's go. Shark Canine, sure. Mimighoul is here. Mimighoul Maker. Reveal 2, randomly give the opponent one of them. That's generally the one you want on your side because you could flip up the opponent's monster. We have Ripple Bird to flip it up. Now, what's going to happen here is the opponent, being the Mimighoul player, draws 1. We have to discard a card. We discarded our shifter. This wasn't random. We chose to discard this. We just don't want to use it. Now, Bell is going to be ripped back. Triple Tactics talent because we gave you a monster and forced you to activate that monster. And now, we, after looking at your hand, are making our plays. Is Azuna even activatable here? We didn't activate anything from the hand. Now, Cupsy clearly activated from the hand, right? No, it did not. What does activate from the hand is the Marshmallow, which I just won't activate it, right? That's it. If you don't activate it, you're fine. The Azuna is not going to be able to make a rank 5 play. So if you're a Yummy player, you have to hold on to Marshmallow if you fear the Azuna. Speed this up. And is Stake Your Soul on Azuna a play? No. We lose. We straight up lose. Played around Azuna being activatable. Stake Your Soul on Azuna is not a play. And even if it was, they're going to have so many forms of disruption. Yummy clapped up this match. More specifically, Yummy Mimighoul. Bori, what happened? You lost game 1 and you didn't play a game 2? So Mimighoul clapped your cheeks so hard you tapped out? Now, I do want to fix something I said earlier, that in Azuna and Stake Your Soul wasn't a combo. You could summon a Holly Suit, normal summon Azuna, then you could rank 5 Xyz Ripper, could search for a Lantern, you could pop off from there. I'm saying this again because otherwise it wouldn't make it into the video. Now, let's rip it up. Search our deck for the Lantern. Lantern, Reborn, the Lupus, as we're now going to be searching for the Force Release. And let's Jokel. Are we Saryuja? No, Saryuja. I want to see you draw 4. We have the Princess, which will be reborning a level 5. And now we Saryuja. Okay, we just wanted to Princess first. Draw 4, return 3, special summon. We have Medius the Pure here to now pop off. Any deck can play Canine beyond the Azuna in the Lupus, that is, and have a Saryuja bridge into their other deck. So your other deck, let's say, oh, but my deck requires a normal summon. The Saryuja will special summon the card that needs to be normal summoned. So there you go. This could officially pretty much bridge into anything if you think draw 4 is enough. Negate something from the hand or grave, non-target pop a card in the field, banish a card from the hand, and that's just the Canine part. Then we have negate anything on the field. We have the ability to non-target negate all monsters on the field permanently. We have Little Knight Chain Banish. We have the Trap and Grave, which can non-target pop. Is it non-target pop? I think it is a target or a non-target. Non-target pop a card in the field. And then we have Ash. So somehow we have 8 forms of disruption? What? Uh-oh, Droplet. Naya is going to be negated by the Deactorus. Negate. Trying to send a Light Reptile from the deck to the graveyard. Or no, this was trying to add an Ogdoadic from the deck. We're going to negate the Thrust with our Ash Blossom. All right. Let's further Ogdoadic Water Lily. Send from the deck a new activate in graveyard. Why not Ripper? No, Ripper, let it rip. Well, Lupus, ooh. Latera summons a level 5. And then Lupus uses the level 5. Now, it's a fancy way to do this. We could have just summoned Azuna, but still, this is pretty cool. Let's make a Jax. Jax on summon, pop the monster. I think Murasaki's going for style points at this point. Can the forced release, which, I mean, good on Konami, a furry card with a forced release name, that's insane. Could this destroy your own card? Only a card the opponent controls, so this isn't a way to turn off the droplet if they oversend. Negate the Jack. And now we are going to use the force release to non-target pop. If you further activate, we'll chain to then banish a card from the hand. Holy moly. We didn't even rip her. No rip. Prayers, tribute, search. Aramasa. When do we want to whip out the Fula? So we're going to wait for the Habakiri summoning from the deck, then hit him with the Fua. Get that draw 1. Jokel at the moment's no good until we grab a level 5, which the field spell could give us. Graflair. As we are even under Full Loss, continually making plays. As long as we don't summon from the deck or extra deck, it is okay to do. If this searches for a Purification, that will be a big issue. We have Prayers, which is still good. Ritual, I think we still have the option to go for, we're Purification searching now. So we did further commit to another draw for Full Loss. Now we got the Purification. What the heck did we just do? Ogdoadic King. Tribute to a monster special summon this card. Jan, can you please tell me you're playing Fancy Ball? Because earlier I was thinking, what deck could play this best? Someone in the chat brought up Pure Mitsurugi, and while you're not Pure Mitsurugi, of any deck today, you are the chosen one to play the ball. Let's see. I don't see the ball. Really? You don't think Fancy Ball is good enough? And you probably more so than anyone have room to play it. Damn. That's disappointing. Does the Fancy Ball look better than she actually is? So we have the ability to make them discard with the Murakumo. We can non-target wipe away their field. We could negate anything with the Purification. We could link off into a double Little Knight Banish. About 5 forms of disruption. What does this even do? If a card is added to the opponent's hand, you could send a random card, so I will count that as a disruptive play. 6 disruptions. And then the Futsu continually reborning from the graveyard. In response to the field spell, we're going to Little Knight Banish it away, so we do lose the ability to make them discard with the Aaron. Little Knight Banish away the field spell. And so now we're down to 4. We have another field spell. Purification negates the Graflair. Not today, mate. Negate and destroy. Now down to triple disruption. Futsu reborn back. Call by the grave, fingering the Futsu. Now, fingering the Futsu, and I have my finger up to 3. Does it go down? No, it doesn't even stop that disruption. Now, we could use the prayers to simply reborn the Futsu or reborn the Murakumo. The Futsu would be the play to do so because that's going to be much better. We'll dodge it. Add. Use both effects. Reborn the Futsu back. And we still have Little Knight, full field monster destruction, and force them to discard a card. We got that big triple. Naroi, our normal summon of choice. Banish away the Naroi. Now, this is actually quite devastating in a way because this Azuna being on the field is locking us out from the extra deck. We can't summon anything but a Canine as long as that Azuna is face up on the field. But by sending a Lupus, Lupus could reborn and then we could go into a Ripper or Jax. We will be reborning the Aaron back instead of a Murakumo. I guess we could just summon the Murakumo later. Yeah, in response, we do that. So how do we want to play this out? The Lupus is not a quick effect to perform an Xyz on your own turn. So you just have to sit there and watch. So this is why an opposing Lupus will usually be better for dealing with their play. And now the Lupus gets banished. Azuna gone. Aaron is our final card. If they add a card, we could randomly discard it. So, well, we also have the effect to make them discard this card, but now it's no longer random. Whatever you add is going to be discarded. That's it. Discard that Latera. Holy moly, Jan. What the Jan was that? Hand control. The Aaron between 2 different turns. We got rid of a card, got rid of another card. We forced them to discard the Murakumo. 1-1. Medius the Pure, summon for the deck, our power patron. Oh boy, how good is the thrust going to be? The Deactorus will be able to negate the thrust. It does negate the activation, thus another copy of thrust would be activatable. So with this, the Graflair could pop a back row. I'm not going to count that as a disruption, but the Deactorus could negate and destroy anything. The Engrave Awakening can destroy any card in the field. The Fin Mill can non-target negate all opposing monsters and reduce their attack. We could Imperm negate a monster, Imperm again negate a monster, Nibiru tribute off the field. 6 disruptions versus our 6-card hand. All right. So with that basic math, Murasaki could just 1-for-1 every card, right? Let's see. Mitsurugi Ritual, negate. 5 disruptions left, 5 cards left in our hand. Thrust into our hand, pre-preparation of rites. Pre-prep, searching for the Mitsurugi Mirror and a Habakiri. Set the Sachi to summon the Aramasa to then trigger the Saji to also search our deck, which is also a chain link block onto the Saji. Quite smart to do this. Imperm, negate the Aramasa. So we're now down to 4 disruptions. As the Saji, do we play another Mitsurugi? Yes, we do. Normally, when you're playing Mitsurugi in your deck, you only play 1 Mitsurugi ritual. Now, the decks that play more than 1 ritual are pure Mitsurugi, and I guess also the Ogdoadic version. Activate the Mitsurugi ritual. Tribute from the deck to come forth and summon our Habakiri. Trigger engrave the Murakumo, which we're going to reborn back with the mirror. Now, this spells trouble for Murasaki. If I'm Murasaki, I'm sweating because I feel in a way safe with Fin Mill to negate the Murakumo, but because they have prayers we know will now dodge the Fin Mill negating the Murakumo, thus they're about to wipe away our entire field. Snake Rain. Send 4 monsters from your deck to the graveyard that are reptiles. Serpent's gonna reborn. Feral Imps will be searching if we don't negate with the impermanence. Negate. No reptile search for you for whatever you want. It's not even restricted on the level. Any type of reptile. We're now down to triple disruption. We have the trap in graveyard, which is our disruption. You reborn the patron, okay, it's negated. Patron has an effect to fusion summon if it were not negated. Let's further make the Echinata. Echinata is going to change the... What is it doing to this? It's changing its attack to 0. And when it's 0, is it negated or something? During your main phase, if your opponent controls a monster with 0 attack, you could add a reptile with a different name from your deck to your hand up to the number of monsters the opponent controls with 0 attack. You also can't special summon except a reptile. We're going to use the effect of the non-target pop. Wipe it away. Not today. Return back, take it out. Now let's follow up with the mirror. We still have Fin Mill negate and Nibiru mate. Our final 2 disruption. Remember, it was 6 disruption versus 6-card hand, and somehow we now have 3 cards versus 2 disruption left, which means Jan is playing this correctly. We now have 4 cards against 2 disruption. 5 cards versus 2 disruption. Let's tribute off the Habakiri, summon a token. How many tokens? All the tokens. Every token. Okay. Mirror is going to be adding back. Latera is going to be trying to reborn a monster from the graveyard. We're going to be using the Murakumo to non-target wipe away the field. Now, no, we're using the not Murakumo to wipe away the field. I got confused on that. We did not use the effect to destroy all the monsters. We are just using the effect to force them to discard a card, otherwise they would be negated. I'm confused. Why did we not Murakumo wipe the field? Did we not summon the Murakumo this turn and we just passed on its activation? Why didn't we summon it? We summoned Murakumo. He's got protection in the graveyard. Let's see, is it this card? I think it's this one. When your Archmage monster is targeted, which is the protection in the graveyard? What are you talking about? Misclick? Let me see real quick the word destroy, because I do want to analyze this properly. Let's type in Archmage, semicolon, destroyed. Control F, destroy. Is there destruction, protection? This will destroy a card the opponent controls. If an Archmage would be, if the field spell would be destroyed, this destroys a back row. If the first time, this card would be destroyed by battle. If this is fusion summon card is destroyed, you could special summon Immedius the Pure. There is no destruction protection. Okay. Now, talk about destroying. This is it. Nerva. How do you stop this? And you have to stop this. When you activate an Archmage monster, you must be the direct chain link to that Archmage monster activating. And if you are, you get to destroy all cards the opponent controls, their back row and their monsters. What this means is you have to chain link block any Archmage that activates. So right now the Power Patron is activating, and we're gonna change the effect to destroy everything. Successfully doing so. No chain link block. Wipe the field. Nuts. Daybreak. We still have Nibiru. And did we use the trap yet? We did. We used the trap to pop a card. Wuso and Nephil Abyss are now here. Nephil Abyss is going to be... This is why... You see, I don't understand Ogdoadic. I thought he passed up on his final opportunity to activate the Murakumo. He didn't. He had another way. It was in his back pocket. It was for his final play. He still is now able to wipe away the field if he wanted to, but I think this card can't be destroyed by card effects, right? While a card is in the field zone, this card cannot be destroyed by Murakumo. Whoops. All right, we didn't want to Nibiru our own Nerva. Now, is Nerva again activatable? Is this only during the opponent's turn? Once per turn, either player's turn. We're activating an Archmage card, right? No, Medius the Pure is not actually an Archmage. So Jan may think that he has to chain link block the Nerva when this is not even activatable. Reborn. So we are going to try to stop the Medius the Pure from summoning. This is where we can either allow the negate to go through or non-target destroy the entire field. Again, back-to-back Nerva. This is the way. Wipe the field. Murakumo, you're supposed to be the one wiping the field. What is going on here? Nephil Abyss. If a monster was sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard while this card was in the graveyard, you could special summon it. And then, could this summon the Murakumo during the opponent's turn? No, it's a spell speed 1 during your own turn, reborn Murakumo. If you control this card, that was the special summon for the graveyard, spell speed 1, reborn. And we still have the Nerva. Now, the Deactress isn't simply a negate, it's only a negate if you have 3 or more different monster types in the field. So what we have is an illusion, a fairy, and a warrior. We have the negate. Negate the monsters, negate anything. We could turn any of them into destroying the field instead. Now, only negate on field, only negate monster in the field. The Latera can be the card. Now that enables the Nerva, right? But then the Latera is negated. If we change the negated monster's effect to a different effect, but she's negated, it's negated. Murakumo, wipe away the field. Nephil Abyss is going to be reborning. Finmel is going to non-target, attempt to negate the face-up Murakumo. We'll discard the card to ensure that it does negate. Negate, successfully doing so. Reborn the Nephil Abyss. Nephil Abyss can reborn a monster. You're negated! You're changing the effect of your negated monster to be a negated destroy all monsters destroy all cards the opponent controls. So it's not, Nerva never destroys anything. It's the other card that destroys, but it's negated. He said, I didn't know the ruling XD. It's okay. Maybe you did in TCG, which is fine. Reborn the Enchinada. Enchinada is going to be using the effect to, what is this? Add a reptile from, with different names in the deck, sure. The Deactress is going to try to negate. Call by the Grave is going to finger the Deactress in Grave. No. Negate. Holy moly. I don't know if this is the end for Murasaki. Murasaki, if so, I very much enjoy your D. I want to copy this. This is great. K9 Art Mage. Love it. But the duel's not over. We have Gorgon. Gorgon is going to be negated on the attack. Nephil Abyss further wiping out the Finmel. Big enough to take out the Nerva. And now back to Murasaki. What do we even have here? What are our disruptions? The Gorgon's not going to really be doing anything besides it is pinning down the opposing Deactress. It is being negated. And the Murakumo is also negated. It's permanently negated by Finmel. That Fin Mail negate from the previous turn, it is a temporary attack reduction, but a permanent negate. We have Malulu permanently negating, Fin Mail permanently negating. Little Knight is here on summon, banish a card on field. Even though it's all negated, we just don't want it in the game. We don't want them to further later use prayers to tribute it, then reborn it back in the field. As we now summon Latera. Latera, add back the Archmage spell. We're going to use the field spell to discard to search our deck. What is going on? I thought Morisaki would lose this. Does Morisaki now win? We're going back and forth. Typhon is here, plan L. Are you ready? Do not summon the Typhon to where the Gorgon is pointing to. And we take out the Nephil Abyss. So we really have to be careful on what will trigger the Nephil Abyss. It feels like this is a core card to be playing around when you're playing against Ogdoadic, which you never will be playing against. A monster has to be sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard. You don't really play around that. They're just going to do it. And it's 2200, so it plays around the Typhon. You Ash negate. Now, that's the pre-prep. That wasn't the Snake Rain. Snake Rain is what will trigger the Nephil Abyss. Wait, that's when your Ash went from the hands to the grave. You triggered. It's like a freaking canine. What the heck? Oh my, this card is so good. Reborn the Habakiri. Latera, reborn the Deactress, ready to negate a card on the field and then destroy it. We're going to negate the attack with the Archmage Varnish. Still further going in with the Habakiri, thanks to Habakiri's attack reduction. And now we're going to prayers within the battle phase. Add a Futsu, reborn the Kusanagi. Kusanagi can add back the banished Murakumo, or add back engrave the prayers is what we're doing instead. We may play more than one copy of Murakumo. Let's search for a purification. We now have a negate ready. Habakiri back out, big enough to take out the Typhon. As we turn these three into a Snapper. What the snap does this do? Banish up to 2 monsters from the graveyard, then target that many spell and trap cards and wipe them away. Oh boy. Now it might be over. We have negate anything with the purification. And with the negate anything, I don't know if the Snapper is further doing something after it wiped out the back row. I'm conflicted. I like both of their decks. Both of their decks are cool. The Nephil Abyss is crazy. The Archmage plays are crazy. What the snap? I guess it's mostly doing the effect to pop back row cards. So thank you to both of you, Jan and Morisaki. I appreciate it. Let's keep on going. What is this deck doing here? I've never seen this. Mutant Sky Striker, or is it like a minimal Sky Striker engine put in Mutant? Well, we're going to find out soon. So let's see. Ash, negate, Parelia, mate. Now we're going to have to be leaning on the Fulos instead. If the Raisin searches for something, it could search for a Holly Sue. Holly Sue could then take control of the monster. So we do have a disruption through the Rock of the Vanquisher. Non-target take, we could negate a card effect in the hand or in the grave. We could non-target pop a card in the field, plus banish a card from the hand. And we could possibly use Lupus to go into another Xyz play if you activate that Marshmallow. You gotta be careful. If you activate a monster from the hand or in grave, not only do you give value to the Ripper, but they also will then suck you up with the Nash Knight. It's like, I have to Ash, right? I have to. If I don't Ash this, then I'm under Max C. But now you just turned on the Ripper. And they could just Ripper, not just turn on the Ripper, but you turned on the Lupus. Does he Ripper negate? Of course he does, mate. Negate. So now they have an extra disrupt with the Lupus play. What do? Well, we already ashed and already got negated, so may as well summon a Marshmallow under Max C. They're going to suck us up with the Lupus. As I said exactly, Nash Knight, non-target, yoink. Now we have not committed to a normal summon. Now think about this. You saw his hand, right? If you saw his hand and you know he's playing Sky Striker Engage, instead of giving him that good suck, maybe we should have considered a card that you should be playing, right? Valen. Valen flips the monster face down. If the monster's face down, I now can't use Engage because you flipped down my freaking Yummy. Let's triple tactics talent. Take control. Normal summon a mutant 0/5. We have mutant then activating from the hand. We're going to chain the force release to non-target pop a card on the field. That card's going to be the Rock of the Vanquisher. As we summon the mutant. Almirage is here. We're going for a Little Knight play. Or Cup C is the way. Cup C, activate. So there's two things here. Either you want him to activate this to not activate it later, or you should set this. So always be thinking about setting your cards if they have a werewolf so that they don't banish them. But again, maybe we did not want him to activate that at a later time. Searching for the Cup C and the Cookie. Discard. Cup C on summon, searching for the Yummy Surprise. As we now go into our Snatchy, you know, it's not that we don't care about Max C. What's the alternative? You want me to just surrender? Bell negating the effect to Reborn 2 bodies, so we chain the effect to Reborn 2 bodies anyway. Snatchy, play the field spell further Reborn from Engrave the Cookie. We are going to Yummy Surprise in response, Retaliating C. Any card sent to the grave once Retaliating C hits the field will be banished instead. Synchro it up into Cookie Yummy Way, which will flip 2 monsters on the field face down. Could flip down the Retaliating C to ensure that it is no longer floodgating. Yummy Surprise now being banished, so that means it's no longer recyclable. Sprint. What? Are you gonna make a gigantic sprite with these two? What is your deck? Yes, you are. What the heck? This is crazy. Gigantic Sprite is getting ready. We're gonna chain Cookie Yummy Way to the Ash Blossom, negating the sprint from sending a card from the deck to the grave. Okay, get ready for Gigantic. I guess so. Gigantic Sprite is here. But he's now gonna Holly Sue. Holly Sue summon. But how can Holly Sue take control of a monster or destroy the column if all our monster slots are filled? We have too many monsters. Well, Holly Sue allows us to summon the Caesar. Caesar allows us to non-target pop any card in the field. And the ideal play would be using the non-target pop of Caesar in response to the Gigantic Sprite summoning for the deck, because if it gets popped before detaching, since it detaches by the card effect, not by cost, it would not even summon from the deck. Thus, this gets to go through when we could have stopped it. We're gonna be searching for a Jet, special the Jet. Ovi could win this, potentially, possibly. The problem is, you know, they have Caesar. Wait, Caesar did not pop yet. Yeah, we're waiting with the Caesar. Camellia is not gonna be able to send anything from the deck to the grave. Go into a Masquerina. Bro, you trying to deck him out? nine cards left. He couldn't do it. So what is the play to try to lethal? The play is the Mosquito. Mosquito. It's going to be 2 bodies to make this, and then those 2 bodies will not contribute to dealing damage, but the other bodies will. So what that means is if they are at 8,000 life and they have a 3,000 attack monster on the field, you have to summon 5 bodies and you win, even under max C. Because you turn 2 bodies into Mosquito. Mosquito or another monster will place the counter, and then you're going to deal 3K, 3K, 3K for game. And he is playing it. Now, why are we doing this? Corellia on your own turn is actually a potentially good idea. Now, if we're going to inevitably turn on the Azuna, then sure, toss in Corellias to make sure you draw off of it. So the ideal use of Corellia is they summon a Holly, we draw. They summon a Azuna, we draw. They have the Lupus stuck in their hand, we draw again. They have a Caesar that they summon to try to pop us, we draw. We could possibly draw, 3 to 4 cards, but at best here it looks like we're just gonna draw 1. Sending the Water Corellia for the Swap Frog to special summon. Swap Frog sending Ronin Totem, further sending another Swap Frog from the deck to the grave, as we now make an Almirage. Ronin Totem is going to be banishing the Swap Frog, as the Ghost Spell will negate the Ronin Totem, which is activatable more than once per turn. It's a sus negate, I think, so I don't know about that negate. We're going to be reborning as we now go into a Camellia. Camellia, she's slow, she's spell speed 1, she doesn't trigger on summon. so you can very slowly send a spell from the deck to the graveyard. This could be the moment where we Azuna Lupus suck her up before she's able to set up the play. Nope, we're allowing him to make his play. Kagari, add back the Hornet Drones. So Camellia would have been the check of potentially whipping out the Azuna, which they would only draw one card off of. What are we saving Azuna for? Because Azuna is activatable. Ash, negate the Cupsy mate. Sprite starter, summon from the deck. A blue. Blue, I choose you. I think he's waiting for Gigantic Sprite. Yeah. Okay, first gonna sprint. Here's the problem. If you ask me, hey, what's the best use of my hand trap? And I go, Gigantic Sprite. But then in a vacuum, sure, that's correct. But if you look at the bigger picture, if that's the best card to hand trap, then the player knows to set up other safeguards to protect that play. Now we're gonna be sending a Nimble card to summon 2 other cards to make a Gigantic Sprite, and then when you try to hand trap the Gigantic Sprite, the red will negate. So that's why potentially you have to sometimes purposely, suboptimally use your hand trap on something else, which ends up being the optimal play, because otherwise they're just gonna negate you. Because we're protected. You now, if you are saving for the Gigantic Sprite, you can't stop it. And this is the perfect stop. We need the Beaver, we need the red. Red needs to tribute off Beaver to stop the Azuna. And once the Gigantic Sprite resolves, we don't need red anymore. We could say goodbye to red because you, for the rest of the turn, you can't Nibiru, you can't Azuna, so you're forced to activate this and we'll just lose a Beaver and then we're gonna fully combo from there. Doesn't do it? Okay, now I don't need red, you can't Nibiru, because for the rest of the turn, neither player could summon a non-level 2, rank 2, link 2. So we're good, there you go. Let's pop off. So that was our ending play. Didn't even use the Azuna, which is quite insane. You know, we really kept that a secret. The Sprite starter, summon for the deck. Now, to be fair, Pirellia, they would have drawn 1 card. We didn't want to give them 1 card, I guess. Starter's going to summon for the deck here. We have the ability to negate a spell, negate a monster, double Little Knight banish, or go into the Goddess, negate all of their cards in, or negate a card summoning from the graveyard and just taking a monster from their fields. So I would say about 4 disruptions we have. Actually, we have more. Negate a spell, negate a monster, double banish, and then we could go into the Cupsy plays. Cupsy can flip 2 monsters face down if we play a Crow, or we also have Cookie, we could pop a monster. A Crow could then pop another card in the field. So potentially up to 7 disruption because of Yummy. He's not doing that though. And we don't have any other Yummy cards because the Cupsy was stopped by the Ash Blossom. So those plays are not even a play. We have our 4 plays only. Red, negate. Now it's not destroying the Azuna, it's keeping it in hand, which the Lantern can't reborn it, but we could use the Jokel. We're normal summoning the Azuna instead. Send from the deck. We're now gonna Masquerena banish. Let's banish the Jokel. Banish the Jokel in grave. I guess we were afraid of them using the Lantern. Okay, so, I mean, he already used this effect of summoning another monster, and if we know he has the Lantern and we don't want him to reborn it, then that ends up actually being the right play. We already committed to a normal summon, so that Raisin's no good. Wow. Let's go. Droll. Now, what is good with Droll against Vanquished Soul? If they could ideally use their first search for the field spell so that they could set the trap in the end phase, that could be a good way to play around Droll instead of opening up with a Raisin. So you want to think, do I want to use my Raisin or some sort of Mad Love or Jiaolong search for the field spell instead, is what I would say is better to do. Generally, if you have a way to set the trap from the deck. Holly Sue, trigger the Jiaolong, special summon, rip her right away. Let it rip. You Droll it, we can negate it. Now, if Ripper is supposed to be negating Nibiru, there's going to be some times where they don't negate your other hand trap. But then that also means that if you want to play Nibiru yourself, all you need is any other hand trap that the Ripper negates, and then you're now ready to Nibiru. So whatever Asim's play is now, very likely is going to play into Nibiru. this would be it. You could Nibiru this field. But now we get to look at your hand to see that you're not holding on to a Nibiru, you have nothing. We get to absolutely have our way. And please, Asim, I'm begging you, make Saryuja. Some people call it cope. I say it is the way. Mathematically, it is on your side to go through. You're going to draw 4. You're going to draw into a Vanquish Soul. You're going to special summon the Vanquish Soul. We already used up our normal summon. This is it. Don't continue at rank 5. Don't make a little knight. That's the wussy way. Make the real play. Let's go. Damn. He didn't do it. Okay. He wussed out. He wussed out. All right, sure. I mean, he looked at the hand. He knows that he 100% is going to win by making this play, but who cares about 100% winning with this play instead? Saryuja is cooler. Now, we all know, or some of you know, that Jax on summon pops a monster. If you summon it preemptively, it will instead, if the opponent activates an effect in the hand or engrave that's a monster effect, you could then use the effect to detach a card to then target a monster and destroy it. So, you know, it's not as good preemptively summoned. The Snow Devil's gonna be nothing. We have Bell, we have Pop, we can flip a monster face down, we can't flip a token face down. We have Ripper, negate from the hand or engrave. About Quadra Disruption. Mutant. Blue. We can try to flip down a Gigantic Sprite, I guess, if we want to really wait on the Valen. This is it. This is where the Jax could trigger, which we chose to not trigger. Okay. We're waiting on Jax. We also didn't rip or negate. Huh. What are we saving it for? Cup's a yummy way. Search our deck for 2, discard 1 card. Asim is really holding on to his effects here. Cupsy, search. We have a flip, we have a pop, we have a negate from the hand or grave. We go into a Snatchy. Snatchy play the field spell. Now our hand's forced. Now we could flip 2 monsters face down. You are waiting to flip me down, I'm flipping you down. All we have is flip face down. And now we're gonna have nothing. We should have Saryuja'd. I knew it. Saryuja was the way. Randomly draw 4. Come on. Was he locked out of Saryuja? Was he? Was his Noroi summoned later? Did he Noroi summon and then he was locked out of Saryuja? I think he was. And to play around that, you would, yeah. I guess if that was the case, then he couldn't even go into it whether he wanted to. So I'm gonna double check the log. We got the Mosquito for that lethal damage. Where was it? Where was it? Did he Noroi late? He Noroid to summon what? Noroi summon Jokul. Yeah, the Jokul on field. Actually locked him out from making a Saryuja. That is unfortunate. Yep, damn. Negate and destroy. Valen destroy his own face down card. Now back to you. All right, Asim, I forgive you. You couldn't even go into it whether you wanted to or not. Well, what were people saying? People were saying that Yummy beats Vanquish Soul. Do you kind of see it here? Do you believe it? Zeus, ready to wipe the field. Red, ready to negate. Does not have enough materials to activate again. Negate. And destroy. Oh my Jesus. He had force release. No, he didn't. There was no force release. Here's something I want to talk about. I'm going to pause this. There will be many duels. There will be many opportunities where looking at the opponent's hand is not free. It's coming at a cost. And if you look at their hand, you are sometimes choosing to look at their hand and then that's it, instead of having a non-target pop and the ability to look at their hand later and banish a card from it. So you do give up on that. So even though the Noroi was locking him out of making a Saryuja, You link into the, you Xyz into the Jax, and then the other two bodies instead of the Valen, you make the Nash Knight, you go into the Chaos Knight, you go into the Masquerade card, and then you pop your card, which is the card you send to the grave to look at their hand, and then you have the Force Release to have all those other plays, which I think we would have won if we didn't look at their hand. That's what's crazy. Looking at their hand costed him the duel. Is that fair to say? Holy 12,000 damage. Yeah. He peeked. He's a peeker. He peeped. Peeping at the hand costed him. Thank you, YouTube, for watching the top 16. We'll now be advancing to the top 8 grand finale and top deck list in the very next video. Let's go.